I will link the products below. Some of the links are affiliate links, and if you click them and make a purchase, I make a commission out of it and no extra cost to you. So you already know me, I don't like long intros, so we will jump right in. Fervor. Pep. Push. Fancy. Fervor and Pep. NC30. Temptu SB foundation. Fresh Mauve. So I did go pretty ham on the contour, but I'm gonna go in with my powder foundation and go over everything. And this is how I get a seamless blend all over the face. So I know it's a little bit dark, but I'm gonna go in with my translucent powder, and this should lighten up everything and blend together. So I do go pretty ham with this because I just like that really brightening effect that it gives. I also like a very high contrast look, so I do go much darker on my contour than most people would. Do I recommend you doing it? Probably not, but I go like 3 shades darker sometimes. Like I said, I am an oily skin type. I do like to bake my entire face. I do more of the concentration under here, and I don't do as much here. It's just kind of like a light swipe. So concentrated and then not as concentrated. And the reason why I do that is so when I put in my bronzer powder over it, it doesn't catch on the bronzer powder too much because it's still kind of wet. So like I said, oily skin type like me, my face after an hour usually eats up this foundation, so I make sure I pack this on pretty well. And when I mean my entire face, I really mean my entire face. Especially during the summer times, I cannot put in all this effort to do all this makeup just for it to run off my face. So if you are also an oily skin girly and you struggle with your foundation running away, same here, girl. See, the wonderful thing about doing makeup is an expression. You want to just do things because it's what makes you feel nice regardless of what people tell you what it looks like. If you feel good doing it and it might not look good for somebody else, or somebody doesn't like it, who are they to say? While this is baking, I'm going in with Brulee. Blending out. Honey. NC30 concealer. So you want to make sure you use a concealer when you carve out your lips that is about as close to your foundation shade as possible. Otherwise, just go in with your foundation shade because you don't want it to look too white. And then with a blending brush, I'm going to blend it out so that we don't have harsh lines. You don't have to do this, but I like to do it because I like how it looks in photographs and pictures, and I do it on all my brides. And then with the same blending brush that I did the lip liner, I'm gonna go in with my Natasha Denona concealer and go right here. And you wanna go from the middle and fluff it up. Most of the makeup looks that I show you guys are my bridal looks. They might be a little more advanced, or you guys probably don't really understand why I do certain techniques, but you could say that I like how it looks like in photos, so that's why. I do go a little too heavy-handed on the concealer, so I'll add the shade back. And the thing about artistry is just going back and forth until you get it the way that you want it to look. So it does take time and it takes practice. Going in with my Natasha Denona mini bronze. Just bringing the color back and fluffing out all the translucent powder. So I go dense towards the contour areas, and then when it feels like when it feels like there's almost no more, then I just softly brush out the rest on the center of my face where the highlights are supposed to be. So this will be softly brushed out. And if the parts that I wanted to be a little bit darker, I'll go softly down here, because the jawline I don't want it to be too crazy, but I will pick up more product and then go more, press more on the contour areas, like right here. And then when it feels like it's almost gone, then I'm gonna brush out the translucent powder, the excess translucent powder. If you're dry skin, or it just depends on like the preference, you don't have to do this much powder, but like I said, I am an oily skin girl. If I really had to put on makeup and decide one, it is a very matte foundation like this. So I do eyeliner and eyelashes at the very end, and the reason why is because when I do airbrush foundation or like powders, I feel like it falls all over the lashes and it's so hard to clean. So that is my reasoning behind why you will see me do my eyes almost last. So depending on your artistry and makeup skills, You might want to do the eyeliner first, just to avoid any like mess, because you know you have concealer under here, and that's also hard to clean too. That's another pro tip. But you know, I know how to do it after, so I'm cool. Now I do have a lot of old brushes that were purchased a long time ago, so you probably won't see, you know, the same one, but you basically need a brush that's like skinny and tiny like this. The reason why I like it is because when I do my eyeliner, I get to go kind of like this, using the tip very softly, not even pressing hard, just softly getting my wing eyeliner and then filling in the gaps. Like I said, I do start off with my eyebrows, and I do go pretty intense, but because I do powders over it, that's the reason why I go a little bit more, because it does, you know, lighten up a smidge. But you don't have to. It, like I said, you do and play with makeup long enough, you kind of know what it does and what it doesn't do. So I do the same steps repeatedly over and over and over for many years, which is why I know. So sometimes when I do bridal makeup, the eyebrows might come off pretty strong, but you know, like I said, you have to trust the process. It's hard to explain to you how to look like, because when I first started off this video, my eyebrows were pretty dark and pretty bold, but the moment I start putting all this together, you see how it's coming together. But like I said, I am a full glam girly, so this might look a lot to somebody else, while this is my version of a soft glam. So it really depends. If you're not an oily skin girl, I probably wouldn't put as much powder like I did on myself on a dry skin girl, but it just depends on the look that they're going for, you know? But yeah, like I said, it is a preference. You have to address what you would like. So for example, let's say you like the eye makeup of this, but you do not want your foundation to look like this, and then I evaluate your, you know, skin type and try to figure out like if you're able to get away with certain things, because there's some things that you don't have to do your foundation like this, you don't have to do your eyes like this, you also don't need to do your eyeshadows like this. But in bridal world, your makeup does have to come a little bit more, it does have to be a little more intense for it to pop in photos, because all the lights that your photographers use are extremely bright. So I'm not trying to deter anybody away, but you have to really know what you're kind of looking for and what you want. I can start off soft and then go a little more heavy-handed, but it just depends on the look that you're going for. And this is my version of another soft glam look. So I don't have any nose contouring or lip gloss on a typical like special occasion on my own personal time. If I wanted to glam up a little bit, this is kind of what I do. I kind of skip that part, so I don't really, you know, care too much about anything that's shimmery or glossy. And I also don't really need to walk around with a defined nose, but I'll show you the difference and what it looks like. So going in with my bronzer, I'm gonna do here, and then tap off the excess. So on one side, we'll do that. So you see how that kind of shows up on the light better? In person, if you're not used to makeup, this will probably feel like it's too much for you and you probably don't want to do it. But you know, if you're a bride, you kind of have to ask yourself if you want your makeup to stand out in photos and videos, or if you want it just to be more like you. So when you say more like you, I already automatically know not to do this part. Or if I have to do it, I do it so subtle that you can't tell. But you know, if you're, 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 if seeing how this looks on camera. You see how it brings out a dimension. So my job is to make it pop in photos and videos, but I also understand that if you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to do it. We could skip it also. Throughout the whole appointment process, I will ask you what you want, what you don't want before I go on to the next step. So it makes my job a little bit easy, and then I try to figure out what you want throughout the process so we could understand and meet each other halfway. And yeah, like I said, if I think that you need it, I will say that you will need it, but if I think you don't, then you can skip it. I'm gonna do a glossy lip just to show you the difference. I'm going with a clear gloss. So like I said, every step is up to you, what you like. Everything you could customize it and change it. So I just wanted to show the difference between gloss and earlier without the gloss. So I do like a pretty sharp nose contour sometimes, just because I feel like it, you know, I feel like it looks good in photos and pictures. And like I said, I do understand, you know, in real life, sometimes you guys think that it doesn't look good because you're not used to what it looks like in, you know, the mirror. But if you were to ask me, hey, whatever looks good in pictures and you're comfortable with doing it, I would tell you this will look good in pictures on you for your specific, you know, face features and, you know, whatnot. And I also choose the shades. So just because I use these shades on me doesn't mean I use it on everybody. It just depends, you know, whether you're lighter skin, dark skin, and I just work around with it. So it just depends on what you like. And also in real life, I don't like shimmer on my eyelid, but it does look good in videos and photos, to be honest with you. But in real life, I actually like it to be matte. And so I feel a little bit weird that I have a very, very glossy lip. But you know, if you like it, I do it. If you don't like it, I don't do it. But thank you for staying and watching my video, and I hope you learned something out of it. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more tutorials.